I wanted to talk about a time in life where you might find yourself. And this time is like the in between. And it is when you want to make changes, you feel compelled to change something, you feel compelled to evolve out of the person that you were, but you don't know where you're going. You don't know what that other side looks like. And you can become very depressed, very lost, very lonely. Um, I don't know how to phrase this, but I feel like in these moments is when people can make really bad decisions for themselves because you've reached a sense with yourself where you detach from who you thought you were and the things that you were programmed to doing or used to doing or found comfort in, like a sense of home. And then now all of a sudden you don't feel that. You don't know what's ahead of you. You don't know what you want to become. And you become depressed because you don't know who you are. And I know I've made a video about losing my sister. I know I've made videos about people in my family who have turned to drugs, turned to drinking, and turned to really bad choices that they've made. And I believe it's in those moments where we feel that big sense of detachment from ourselves, where we can make these harmful decisions for ourselves. And a lot of these decisions that you make, you can't turn back and you can't fix. So if you find yourself in that moment where you no longer resonate with who you are and you're not sure where you're going or what you're doing, just remind yourself that there is a very dark stage to that. And that dark stage is where you can become a statistic. And I want to use the word statistic because I felt like that word was used in expression to me a lot growing up. When people would understand or know my story, they would say to me, wow, you're so strong. How are you not a statistic? Meaning I'm not a drug addict, I'm not a prostitute, and I'm not living on the streets. And it's because I wanted better. I wanted more for myself. Excuse me, I'm sick. Even when I didn't know how to become that person, there were times where I was very depressed. And there were times where I had become suicidal. I had had suicidal thoughts. And there were times where I had tried to commit suicide by taking a bottle of pills. I felt so unlovable. I felt so hurt, so lost, that in that moment, I really thought that was my answer. And I didn't think that I was lovable enough for anybody to even give me that time of the day. I look back now and I'm so grateful that nothing came of me doing that, but I can still feel how I felt in that moment. And I can still remember all the thoughts that raced through my mind. And I'm grateful. I really am. That things didn't turn out worse. I look at my life in a way that I've been through so many traumatic experiences that I can touch so many other people's lives in a sense of understanding. And I know what it feels like to be down that rabbit hole of depression, to be down that rabbit hole of despair, and to have anger and feel like I was given, the shitty end of the stick in life, and kind of always waiting for my moment to redeem all the pain and suffering that I had been through. And I used to always think like, well, what the hell? Like, when is my day gonna come? Or, when is good stuff going to come my way to pay me back for everything that I had been through that I had no choice over? And I had no control over these things because I was born into dysfunction. I was born into abuse. I was born around people who didn't think anything wrong with abusing me. And when I say abusing me, I mean physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally, many other ways, and use me as a tool in many aspects. My mother used me as a tool to get a lot of things that she wanted from men in life. And that's disgusting. And it leaves a lot of trauma. It leaves a lot of hurt, self-loathing. And I was the one who had to live with that as I got older. I was the one who had to heal that now as an adult. Um, for the longest time, I didn't know what to do with that. There was all this stuff going on inside of me that I had no control over. I had no control over my rage. I had no control over my emotions. And when you don't have control over those things and you feel the sense of detachment, you hate yourself so much because of what you've went through. And a lot of times you may think that you deserve it or you brought it onto yourself, because I remember feeling that way too. I'm like, what is it I'm doing that I keep attracting these molesters growing up? And now as I'm older, I look back and I'm like, holy fuck, it's because my mom brought a bunch of these shady ass people into my life and she didn't protect me. But I, for the longest time, thought that it was something that I was doing and I couldn't understand it. I was like, if I don't like this, if I don't want this, why does this keep happening to me? And it's because growing up, I had no control over anything. I had no control over the fact that I was in foster homes. I had no control over the fact that I was in a shelter. I had no control over the fact that people came and left out of my life like this, and I was easily disposable. I had no control over that. But now, as I'm an adult, I have the control of understanding why I am the person that I am, how I can transmute my pain and suffering into something positive, how I can become a relatable person to people who have been through what I've been through. And even though at times I didn't know how I was going to survive certain situations, how I was going to make it through certain situations, I did. And I'm still unconditionally loving. I'm still unconditionally understanding to people. And it is possible. So if you resonate with any feeling that I mentioned, please know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And a lot of times I will say take it day by day. And then sometimes it's literally take it hour by hour, because sometimes things are just really rough that you don't even know if you can make it through the day, period. So I hope that my words are a sense of understanding and knowing that you're not alone, because I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone in how I had felt. I know I'm not alone in the experiences that I've lived through. So just know that there is a sense of understanding and love, and it exists through me, and it exists through plenty of people in the world. It's just a lot of times people don't feel comfortable discussing these things. So I am sending you a lot of love and strength, and I wish the best for everybody who has watched my video.